Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to The Good Life with me, Eileen. We are here on Gumbo Talk Thursday, and we're here to open your mind. We are living the good life right here on WBOK 1230 AM. We are opening minds to living differently in the world with love, compassion, tolerance, and understanding for ourselves and everyone else. We do that right here weekdays at 11 a.m. We never want to miss a show. I know you don't. So you can see what goes on in studio if you follow us on our social media platforms. That is at TGL Radio Show, at TGL Radio Show. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We are live on Facebook and Instagram right now. Do remember that Instagram lasts for about 24 hours exactly, so you got to be quick to get to watch it there. And on Facebook, you can always catch up on our shows. You can see something you've missed. You can share it if you like. If it's touched your heart, touched your soul, please share. That's what The Good Life is all about, opening people's minds to living differently in the world. And if you think you are a great match for The Good Life, if you want to partner, we've had so much success with some of our businesses. We are growing, and we want to make sure that you are in that number as well. So give us a call at 504-400-7127, 504-400-7127. Go online right now at www.tglradioshow.com. That is www.tglradioshow.com. You can get our rates and packages right there. Get some information. Send me an email if you have an interest in a topic, if you have an interest in something that we talked about, if you want to, comment, suggestions, whatever it may be. We are open. We want to hear from you. Please email me, Eileen, EILEEN, at tglradioshow.com. That is Eileen at tglradioshow.com. Y'all, this week has been about understanding. We've been going through the core values of the Good Life Radio Show, which is love, tolerance, compassion, and understanding. So last week we started with compassion. This week we are doing understanding. So we've gone through it in so many different aspects. With Motivation Monday, we had Bishop Bolden, who is here, and actually he is going to be my special guest on tomorrow. Why? Because they have so many people who are experiencing the prophetic. They have so many people who are like, I don't understand why I see things. I don't understand why I may do things that I do, or I'm hearing things, or I have dreams and I want to know what these dreams mean, or I need to have a better connection with it, or, just things are happening to you and you don't understand, and you may not have anyone to talk to. I am here to tell you that you are not crazy. They have a lot more people who are going through these things than we even like to talk about sometimes. But we're going to talk about it right here because that's what we're about. We want you to know that you are not alone, and me too. Those are, in my opinion, two of the strongest words that you can share with somebody. Me too. And when you're able to walk that walk and open up yourself and and understand yourself and who you are, and you know what, I'm not crazy. This isn't just whatever. These things really do happen. We want to open your mind to that. So we will have an exciting show tomorrow on my story. Of course, I do open up a little bit about myself, things that I've gone through, things that I'm clear about, and then we walk into those conversations. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for that. But of course, this week has been about understanding and understanding yourselves. And I shouldn't say last week, yesterday, I can't even get my days together. I'm really excited about this show because I read this book. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how long ago. I read it years ago, and it is one of those books that never, ever goes, it never gets old. It really never gets old. It is the birth order book, the new birth order book, Why You Are the Way You Are, Understanding Yourself. Why You Are the Way You Are is written by Dr. Kevin Leman. He is a best-selling author, and it's one of those books that I don't know, I found myself in it. Have you ever read a book and you literally found yourself in it? Birth order is, where a child's place in birth can have an effect on how he sees themselves. Research on birth order, sometimes referred to as ordinal position per se, shows that firstborn children are more likely to go to college than other children in the family's position. These apply to typical families and probably do not apply to dysfunctional families in many of various rounds. But you know what? That's kind of he said, she said. You're like, what is this? People say all this stuff about birth order, and this is just some general stuff off the Child Development Institute that I got. And they say they have these characteristics. They say this, that the middle child does this, the youngest child does this. But it's like, is there truth to that? Is it? how do you feel about that? Like, how has your family dynamic worked out? Why do you do the things that you do? How has it worked out for you? And is it your truth? Well, I have this book, and this book kind of, in my opinion, has really broken down so many of the questions that we have today for each and every one of you out there. I really suggest that if you are, just kind of wondering maybe why you do the things that you do, we were talking about that this week, understanding why you do the things that you do. And maybe you don't. You're like, what? I think this is one of those books that may open your mind to living differently in the world, literally, because it has done that exact thing for me. And so, I when I find something that works for me, I like to offer it up to you. So with the birth order book, at the beginning, it says which traits fit you, and they have this little test that they throw out. So I want to, talk about the test and open it up to each and every one of you and see which one of these kinds of fit in your spirit, because we're going to go through each segment, I should say. Today, we're going to go through the firstborn child. We're going to go through the middle child, and we're going to go through the youngest child, and we're also going to go through that only child. Sometimes we forget that's another segment, but of the family tree, but we cannot forget it. And there's so many different variables, and I'm going to get into that in a couple minutes, because you're like, wait, I have more than 3 children. I've had more than 3 children in my family, or we have, time lapses or things like that. Well, I'm going to get into that in a little bit, but I want to first throw this test at you. This is the first test that he introduces to all of his clients. He is a psychologist, Dr. Kevin Lehman. This book is the New Birth Order book. You can find it anywhere books are sold. And it goes into which traits fit you best. And he gives this quiz to basically everyone that he deals with. And he's actually he can actually look you up, or, with celebrities or people who have certain issues, or, up and down and this, that. He can generally choose their birth order because he's done so much work in this. So I ask you to listen to these 4 categories and see which one fits you best. Okay, I'm going to start with A. And I'm not going to tell you which is which, but if if it resonates in your spirit, you will probably figure it out. A is the perfectionist, reliable, conscientious, a list maker, well organized, hard driving, natural leader, critical, serious, scholarly, logical. They do not like surprises. They don't like surprises. Are you one of those people who don't like surprises? Do you love computers? If you fit in that list, the perfectionist, reliable, conscientious, list maker, well organized, hard driving, natural leader, critical, serious, scholarly, logical, doesn't like surprises, loves computers, loves like kind of techie, kind of nerdy. Not necessarily nerdy, but like techie. If you fit in that category, you are most probably a firstborn child. You are most probably a firstborn child. We are going through the birth order book today to understand exactly who we are, because that's what this week is about, understanding. Now, B. I'm going to give you this list. Mediator, compromising, diplomatic, avoids conflict, independent, loyal to peers. You have lots of friends. You're a maverick. You're secretive, and you are not spoiled. Are you a mediator, compromising, diplomatic, avoids conflict, independent, loyal to peers, many friends, a maverick, secretive? And you don't find yourself to be spoiled. If you fit in that list, you are most probably a middle child. Those would be the characteristics of our middle child. C. Now, I hate that they say this, but I'll tell you why in a minute. C. Manipulative, charming, blames others, attention-seeking, tenacious, a people person. Are you a natural salesperson? Are you precocious, engaging, affectionate, but you love surprises? Are you seeing yourself in this? Manipulative, charming, blames others, attention-seeking, tenacious, people person, natural salesperson, precocious, engaging, affectionate, and you love surprises. If you fit into that category, if you see any of those signs in yourself, you are most probably the youngest in the bunch. You are most probably the youngest child. And last but not least, D. A little adult. Were you a little adult by the age 7? Were you very thorough? Were you deliberate? Were you a high achiever? Self-motivated? Fearful? Cautious? A voracious reader? A black and white thinker? Uses very extreme, let me stop. Uses these words, and I'm laughing, and you'll see why. Very, extremely, exactly, a lot. You cannot bear to fail. You have very high expectations for yourself. You are more comfortable with people who are older than you rather than people who are younger than you. Are you finding yourself in this category? You are a little adult by the age 7, or you a little adult at a very young age. You are very thorough, deliberate, high achiever, self-motivated, fearful, cautious, voracious reader, black and white thinker, uses very, extremely, exactly, a lot. You can't bear to fail, have very high expectations for yourself, but you're more comfortable with people who are older than you rather than younger. If you fit in that category, then you are most likely an only child, or you have only child syndrome. And I will say this, you may think that you're like, well, I wasn't an only child, I had siblings. Well, there are many varieties and many variables to this conversation. I'm really excited because we have Rachel in the studio with us today. Rachel, of course, we are talking about our birth order. We're trying to understand ourselves. And I know that you sat here and you heard each and every one of the categories. And before I really start to break some of it down, which child were you?
I'm definitely the first child.
You're the first child?
Yeah.
But are you the first child in your family?
Yeah.
Oh, you are?
No, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I'm the first child description, but I'm the first child.
Okay.
I was the first child in birth order.
Gotcha.
But,
there are variables, so I'll give that to you in a second. So.
Yeah. So what I was going to say about these things is like, you know how you know somebody and they have one child who's now 20 and then they have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Well, both of those children are really only
children. Yes,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? So there are all sorts of ways. And then when I was listening to all the description, I couldn't help but think, it's not completely true in any one category. Do you know what I mean? The description. So you can be part of number A, part of B, part of C. They kind of intermix,
right.
I have to say. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's what makes us all unique as people, is that we're
a
mixture of things. So.
Exactly. And you know what? You led me into the next conversation because it says it all comes back to our family tree. Everything comes back to our family tree. They said for a young child growing up, there's no greater influence than his or her family. Obviously, the most intimate relationships you ever have in your life are with whom?
Your family.
Your family. And obviously we don't get to choose these people. Even like your best friends, you're like, I have been friends with them forever. But think about your family. You've literally known them all your life.
Right.
So they have obviously molded you for situations, whether you remember them or not. They have been there through them. And the relationship between parents and children is the most fluid, dynamic, and all-important relationship in our entire lives, whether we know them or we don't know them. Mm-hmm. Those relationships influence our lives. So I'm going to jump through the book a little bit, and it says the variables in your birth order can be a lot of things. And you hit on one of them, Rachel, spacing. Spacing can be one of the number one effects on your birth order, the number of years between children. For instance, I have two older sisters, Tara and Karen.
And how many years apart are you all?
Tara is 12 years older than me, and Karen is 9.
Oh, so you're like an only child.
So everyone would have put me in the category, oh, she's the youngest child.
No.
But I wasn't the youngest child. I was an only child.
Right.
And so I will have now, because I was I do have certain things that are the youngest.
Right.
But I am more of an only child than I was.
Yeah, interesting.
Youngest child. And and you know what's funny? I used to hate it. My mom did this I think the year before last. Or last year, she gave us those T-shirts of like oldest, like trying to be funny, like the oldest child, the middle child, and the youngest child. And I'm like, I don't fit these characters, or at least I don't think so. Maybe they think that I do. But I was like, I've never felt like, I've always kind of felt like
But those are chronological orders. Mm-hmm. Those aren't, what do you call it? The actual representation.
Right.
They're just, it's actually, well, that's a fact. That's the birth order.
Right.
1, 2,
right,
3.
Right, exactly.
Well, I can tell you I'm one of 3 also, but I'm the oldest one.
Mm-hmm.
But I have this, and we're all 2.5 years apart. So we're pretty close,
yeah.
And we're all incredibly close friends.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really good,
Mm-hmm.
But we're all, no 3 siblings could be more different than the 3 of us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my sister,
now that you're thinking about it, huh?
Well, I've say this to my sister. Mm-hmm. My sister was one of these feisty gals who fought for everything,
mm-hmm.
and I was smart. I saw that she was trying to fight get these things out of my parents that they didn't want to let us do,
mm-hmm.
and I let her fight for all of them, and then I just coasted right through. Now that's not typical of an oldest child, but I mean whether it was shaving your legs or
we'll see. I'm going to talk about that too. I'm
all
going to tell you
sorts of
exactly how.
Wearing stockings, God, when my sister was just definitely her own person.
Mm-hmm.
She was not anything you described. This is more about my sister that I'm saying
mm-hmm.
than a middle child because, she was her own. I was a strong, it wasn't like I was some weak personality or something.
Right.
Y'all
were just different.
But she was just so much her own person.
Mm-hmm.
She just had whatever her conviction was. She went after it there was no stopping her, And I just remember all these things, both very serious things
mm-hmm.
and silly things,
mm-hmm.
that I just sort of wrote on her coattails. And I thought, well, I'm a good little businesswoman. I mean, let her do the work.
Right.
Why should I fight with them?
You're a good entrepreneur. Good.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's sit back and watch and see how that works out for her.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just sort of coast through, But if you looked at us, and my brother too, if you looked at the 3 of us as a grown adults, you would think we were very alike. So
mm-hmm.
if you gave a description of us, you would think, oh, well, they're clearly from the same parents.
Mm-hmm.
But growing up, we couldn't have had more different approaches and styles in the pecking order,
mm-hmm.
So that's why I say I'm not sure how much exactly I buy into all this. I gotta say.
Well, that's why I think by the end of the show I'm gonna make you a believer. Well,
okay.
We'll see.
Okay.
You let me know exactly what it is. I'm going to go through the variables, and then we're going to take a quick break. The variables are going to be, number 1, spacing, the number of years between children. Number 2, the sex of each child. In what sequence males and females are born. Because if you have a firstborn daughter and then you have a firstborn male, obviously they will be treated a little bit different. Physical and mental or emotional difference. Yes, genes are important. So there are some factors there. If there was a death in a sibling, which occurs sometimes, then the birth order or the personalities change. Adoptions do affect birth order. And we don't mean 1, 2, 3, 4. We mean the personality traits of each birth order child. The birth order position of each parent. See?
Oh, and what their frame of reference is.
Your birth order position of each parent will have a direct effect upon the children and how they parent you. The firstborn parents usually run a much different ship than later borns. And the final 2 are the relationship between the parents and the parenting style that they use, that they pass on their personal values to their children, whether the parents are together or that they aren't. And last but not least, the critical eye of a parent. Constant criticism it does take a toll on your children. Oh, I forgot to turn the page, y'all. There is one more. The blending of 2 or more families.
Right.
When you're blending families, a child's personality can take a change if their birth order does change. So we're going to get into all of this. I just want to open your mind as to understanding why you are the way you are and why you do some of the things that you do. Y'all, this is one of those books that opened my mind, and hopefully we're able to do that a little bit for you today. We'll be right back, and we'll be breaking down firstborns when we get back.
All right, you can convince me.
Firstborns. I'm going to start with you, Rachel. I'm going to start with you.
I'll be the guinea pig.
It is Gumbo Talk Thursday. We will be right back.
Do you need to sell your home fast? You should call NOLA Homes Project and join the hundreds of motivated sellers that receive big paychecks for their homes. We're part of a large group of experienced real estate developers who are currently looking for homes in your area. It doesn't matter the reason, inheriting unwanted property, facing foreclosure, problem tenants, we can make a fair offer on your home within 24 hours, close very quickly, and we buy in its as-is condition. Also, if you ever thought about making money flipping homes right here in the local area, then you should call NOLA Homes Project and join the area's #1 real estate mentoring program. Earn while you learn our system on how to find properties to flip, how to evaluate deals quickly, and how to use other people's money to fund your real estate deals. In fact, if the property looks good for a rehab, we'll put up 100% of the money for your deals. Call NOLA Homes Project today at 504-322-1536, 322-1536, or go to NOLAHomesProject.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tammy Lewis Wilborn, owner and Chief Clinical Officer of Wilborn Clinical Services and founder and producer of the annual Black Women's Wellness Conference. Wilborn Clinical Services provides professional and culturally responsive clinical services to meet the needs of a diverse community. Located in the historic Farmore community, we are minutes away from downtown New Orleans. If you're an individual, couple, or family looking for counseling in a warm, non-judgmental environment, call 504-509-3995. Are you a pre-licensed counselor looking for clinical supervision, interested in professional and personal development opportunities, or need an experienced consultant? Call Wilborn Clinical Services at 504-509-3995. Find us on the web at www.wilbornclinicalservices.com. Follow us on Facebook at Wilborn Clinical Services. Do it today, because at Wilborn Clinical Services, we build healthy community, one client at a time.
Small businesses play an important role in society, and L&R Security is no different. L&R Security delivers safety and comfort to our neighborhoods, events, apartment communities, conventions, work sites, festivals, and your business. L&R Security can be reached at 504-943-3191 to ensure the safety of your employees, customers, family, friends, and you. L&R Security has made its mark in the security arena for over 37 years and will faithfully continue that tradition. Call today for your personalized consultation to ensure your security needs are met. L&R Security differentiates itself by creating partnerships with our clients and guards. We are now hiring armed and unarmed guard professionals, retired military, sheriffs, and PD to grow with us and impact our community. Be a part of the change with L&R Security. Call us now at 504-943-3191. 504-943-3191.
There's a miracle healing crusade coming to New Orleans. God is still working miracles, and he has a miracle for you. Get ready for the miracle crusade against cancer beginning Saturday, August 26th at 7 p.m., then Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, August 27th through the 29th. It's 2 services, 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. at Light City Church. The CDC reported new cancer diagnoses at 1.5 million a year, and more than 500,000 persons dying from this disease. Are you suffering from cancer? Come get healed at the Miracle Crusade Against Cancer with David E. Taylor. All seats are free, but you must pre-register at Eventbrite.com. Search Miracle Crusade or download the Light City app and register there. Pastors, get preferred seating when registering with your group of 25 or less. Community groups of any kind are asked to register together as well. Come, see cancer, diabetes, and debilitating diseases cured. It's August 26th through the 29th. The Miracle Crusade Against Cancer with David E. Taylor at Light City Church at 6117 St. Claude, where Chief Apostle Leonard Lucas pastors.
Come on and roll with the RTA. You asked for more, and now there's new bus shelters for your comfort. 2,000 new bus signs. More information at your fingertips with online and SMS texting, and more ways to buy fares. Go to NORTA.com to explore. From New Orleans East to the Lower Nine, we got you covered. Dirt Town, Uptown, Downtown, to the Algiers Point, and all in between. Rolling for everybody, everywhere. That RTA keeps New Orleans rolling.
WBOK 1230 AM, the People's Station.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to The Good Life with me, Eileen. We are here on Gumbo Talk Thursday, and we're here to open your mind. We are living the good life right here on WBOK 1230 AM. We are opening minds to living differently in the world with love, compassion, tolerance, and understanding for ourselves and everyone else. We do that right here weekdays at 11 a.m. You never have to miss a show. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms. That is at TGL Radio Show, at TGL Radio Show, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also watch us live on Facebook and Instagram, and you can join the show by clicking right there on www.tglradioshow.com, www.tglradioshow.com. See our packages, see our rates, join the party. We want you to have a better understanding because we are talking about birth order today. We want to understand exactly sometimes why we do the things that we do, why we have the personality we do, or, just like, sometimes you just want to read a fun book. Well, this is one of those books. It is the New Birth Order book by Dr. Kevin Lehman. I have absolutely enjoyed it, and I'm glad that I found it again. I just wanted to talk about it today because it just touched my soul the other day, and I was like, I need to get back in touch with that book. There's so many times, and I guess we'll get to me. I'm actually the second segment, so we'll talk about me after. We'll talk about me after.
Oh, you're going to beat up on me first, right?
Yes, I am going to beat up on you first because they do say that birth order is not as simple as 1, 2, 3. They say the reason birth order looks inconsistent to some folks is that they think it's some kind of simple ordinal system based on birth rank. Firstborns are supposed to be this. Secondborns are always like this. Thirdborn siblings are always one way or the other, and so on and so on. But as we have already seen, some children act and appear very different from their original birth order. And even when children seem to fit the typical descriptions of their ordinal birth number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they can exhibit characteristics of other birth orders, and that's where the variables come in. They say when variables take effect, they cause a child born in one birth position to function, at least in part, with characteristics of another birth position. The point is that all birth orders have certain tendencies and general characteristics. But the real key to the whole thing is that there are dynamic, fluid relationships existing between members of the family. And that's where the variables can cause functional birth order characteristics. And when a child born in one birth order functions like a child who is born in another. They say all birth orders have these tendencies and general characteristics. So that goes to your question, Rachel. See, I like y'all to ask the questions and then we throw it out. And if you have a question about birth order, I forget to open the line sometime. The lines are open at 504-260-9265. 504-260-9265. But this might be one of those shows where you want to just listen and wait till your number comes up. So I do want to remind you that when we're having these conversations, these are the general characteristics of each order. But your order is distinguished based on, spacing in the family. And I will
just all those things.
All those things. And I will explain spacing a little bit because that's one of the phenomenons that you have most often is the spacing. They say an obvious and crucial birth order variable in any family is spacing when each child arrives. Whenever you think of spacing, you should include the phenomenon called dethronement of the firstborn, which happens the minute a little brother or sister comes into the world. Until that moment, the firstborn has been number one and the apple of everyone's eye. Suddenly, there's another human being on this earth. The firstborn is no longer this little special one, and they may suffer from serious self-esteem problems. So you want to remember that. And spacing, they say, with regard to spacing, that a gap of 6 years between a second and thirdborn can easily cause, the next child to have.
You mean the closer you are, the less dethroning there is?
Yes, the closer you are, the less. Well, it depends. It depends on. I'll tell you that when we get to the middle.
What happens when you have twins or triplets?
Well,
and they're like
that's
1 minute
another one
apart?
that messes it up. Your multiples mess it up. Would be, and you kind of have to see which one is which, and then you can
That's
characterize
just survival of the fittest, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, they say your multiples is one of the things that really messes it up. Last but not least, when the gap. The last, and this was very, for me, when the gap between the last child and the one above becomes more than 7 years, you have a very good chance of developing what we called is a quasi-only child. And, of course, that fell into my spirit because my next oldest sibling is 9 years older than me. So I wanted to throw that in for everyone out there so you can see where you are.
Not so much anymore, but what happened back in the day when people had 8, 9, 10, 11 children? What kind of order could there be? It was just sort of try to get fed and try to have a place to sleep.
Trying to eat.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
like survival of the fittest, literally.
This is sort of a luxury nowadays we universally, generally speaking, most people have, so many fewer children.
Right.
That it's probably a more intense relationship. But I would assume, the more kids there are, then the less you can pay attention to
Right.
all this, because it's just
Right, there's so many children.
it's just
Like, how do you fulfill all the needs?
Boku kids.
As Cindy would say,
Yeah,
buku kids,
yeah.
buku children. And before we hop into the first come, first serve, for those who are listening now, I do want to also throw in there that you have to take into account the birth order of the parents. Like, I had two identifiably firstborn parents due to their circumstance and how they were. So it all depends in how
that's
everything goes on.
interesting,
It really does. So first come, first served. That's how they look at your firstborns. First come. Look at Rachel. I gotcha. You know what? Maybe I should start by reading all of the strengths and weaknesses. That's what I'll do. I'll read the strengths and weaknesses of the firstborn. They say your typical traits are leadership ability. The strengths would be to take charge, know what to do. The weakness may undermine the initiative of those who lean on them too much, or may come off as overbearing or aggressive. Another trait, they say, i.e. is aggressive. A strength would be command respect. Others want to follow their unflinching leadership. A weakness would that be they can roughshod over others, may be insensitive and tend to be selfish, too focused on the goal and not enough on the feelings of others. Typical traits, are they compliant, cooperative, easy to work with, a good team player. They can be taken advantage of and bullied because of that as well. Perfectionistic, always do things the right way and leave no stone unturned to do a thorough job. The weakness with that to be tend to criticize themselves and or others too much. Never satisfied, may procrastinate because they fear they cannot do a good enough job. They are very organized. They have everything under control, always on top of things, tend to be on time and on schedule. They may worry too much about order on the flip side, process and rules, and not be flexible when it's needed. They may show real impatience with anyone who is disorganized or not as meticulous as they are, and they can be very upset by surprises. They may not like surprises. They may be like the driver of the family, ambitious, enterprising, energetic, willing to sacrifice to be a success. But they may put themselves or those they work with under too much stress and pressure because of that same drive. They are a list maker. And for those of you who aren't watching during the break, Rachel walked in here with 4 lists on index cards. I'm just saying, I don't know what she is, but okay. They set goals and reach them. They tend to get more done in a day than others. They're planning a day is a must. On the flip side, they may become boxed in, too busy with the to-do list to see the big picture and what needs to be done right now. They are logical, known as straight thinkers. They can be counted on not to be compulsive or to go off the handle, but they may believe that they're always right and fail to pay attention to the more intuitive options of others. And last but not least, scholarly. They tend to be voracious readers and accumulators of information and facts. Good problem solvers who think things through. But on the flip side, they may spend too much time gathering facts when there are other things that need to be done. It may be serious that when they fail to see humor in situations when humor is desperately needed. So those are some of the strengths and weaknesses of firstborn. And I'm not, picking at you. There are strengths and weaknesses of each. And you know what? I love this book so much. I folded back all these pages, but I'm probably not going to be able to read all of them. I'm going to be able to read the strengths and weaknesses of each today. So did you see yourself in any of that?
Yeah, the thing about these kind of lists is, we're talking generally. We're first of all talking generally about a general population of people that are firstborn. Mm-hmm. So we're not talking specifically about any one person. So when they give these descriptions, it's just a general description.
Right.
So
absolutely.
So there can be large parts of these descriptions that really, truly, honestly, without being biased, don't pertain to you.
Right.
And yet when I was looking through the book, and I looked at some of the other ones, I said, well, I would say that I have these characteristics as well. So I think for the most part, individually, as unique individuals, we all have multiple parts of these things. But if we were going to generalize about a characteristic about a group of people, then there's probably a good bit of truth in all of this stuff. To me, and I'm not playing devil's advocate or anything, you know what I mean, because I know how passionately you feel about this. But I think so much of this, besides the birth order, is more the parents and how they raise their kids. Because I see parents all the time, particularly I admire so many of the young parents now that are raising kids, including you, but specifically I'm talking right now about the parents who have like 2 and 3 children, and how they are so well trained in getting these 3 children to blend together and behave well, and they exert their authority equilaterally, unilaterally across everyone, and they don't put up with any, this one's older, this one's stronger, this one's, smarter, this one. They really seem to run much tighter organizations as families, and I watch a lot of young families from all sorts of different backgrounds, and I really admire the skills that they're using in raising their kids to avoid some of these things that may become impacted because of birth order, maybe back when we were growing up, you know what I mean? But I think people intuitively are more savvy to, whether it's a combination of all the things changes that have been made in schools, and bullying and, and fairness and all those kind of things. It seems like a lot of parents seem much more savvy about keeping these things to a minimum, so it feels like a much more level playing field.
Right.
You hear parents like, no, that's his toy. Give him back his toy. They don't just say, oh, well, all right, well, they're screaming, let him have the toy. They're much more proactive about controlling situations, and I really admire it. I think it's awesome.
That was something that was big in Montessori school. If someone wanted to share with you or play with you, whatever, they had to ask permission. And, so many times where you say, oh, your children, you make them do stuff, or, they want to play share. Well, when you grow up, you're not required to share. People have to ask permission. And we do have personal boundaries, and it's giving your child the right to say, no, this is mine. Now if it's your parents, you want to taste their ice cream, that's one thing. But you know what I'm saying? But you don't make them share. But but if there's a kid at school that wants to take their ice cream and they're sick and coughing, they should,
right.
No, it's mine.
Wait,
I'm just playing.
Can I just tell you something funny? Well, this is the not exactly what we should be talking about, but with my little grandsons, I told them right from the beginning what the VV tax is, because my last name is Van Voorhey, so they call me VV. Okay.
Oh, that's cute.
Okay, so anyway, I explained to them what the VV tax was. That whatever we did, whatever they got, I was entitled to have a bite or take one of anything they had. Well, anyway, they're such sweet kids, you know what I mean? Now we have younger you should have seen the look on my face when I saw the 2 older boys explaining to the 2 younger ones what the VV tax was, and how that it was just it was a fact. It was not anything to discuss. Funny. It was a fact.
You know what? That must be a firstborn thing, and I'm going to make you laugh. Why? You want to know why? Because my mother is a firstborn, too, and she does the same thing. She's like, oh, let Gigi taste it. Let Gigi. So, you know what? Maybe it's something with those firstborns.
Well, those french fries are mine. They're all mine.
That's so funny. And we're going to jump into the firstborn really quickly. I'm going to go over those quickly, not because I want to go through it quickly, but they reflect so much of what the firstborn does as well. Again, they are confident, self-assured, they trust their own opinion, not afraid to make decisions. They may be a bit self-centered from being treated by parents as center of the universe. Why? Because that's all they had. They did not have to share. They never had to learn certain lessons because they just weren't other children around. There can be also fearful, ambivalent about trying new things. I can say I've had that issue.
You have?
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you why. What's the next one is? Perfectionist. Always do things right and leave no stone unturned to do a thorough job. The weakness, tend to criticize themselves and or others too much. Never satisfied, may procrastinate because they fear they cannot do a good enough job. And I've spoken about that openly here on the Good Life Radio Show, that I've had an issue with perfectionism, and I have to check myself sometimes. And it was very comforting to know that, it is a trait or personality with someone who has been an only child.
Well, my problem with what you're saying is I don't view that as a negative thing.
Oh, that's not necessary. Oh, none of these are positive or negative. It's just what it is, so you can strengthen those things if you do see it in yourself.
I mean, most people who are successful are driven, and the way you're driven is because you're a perfectionist and you demand of yourself that keep trying to do it.
Being someone who has lived with it, it's not always a good thing.
Yeah.
It is not always a good thing, especially when you are so hard on yourself that you can't even see that you've done a good job and accomplished something.
Oh, well.
Yeah. It can be
all musicians,
debilitating, actually.
I could say all classical musicians, we play music in such an exacting science. Mm-hmm. We have to always be trying to achieve perfection, right?
Right.
nature, because we're trying to play this music exactly.
I got a lot of firstborn
every
and
time.
only children in there, don't you? No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, can you imagine 100 only children, firstborn only children in one orchestra? That would be, yeah.
I
that
cannot.
explains a lot. I'm going to have you come
explains
talk to
it.
them. I'm going to have you
There
come
it
talk
is.
to them and explain
They
what
should
goes
get
on.
the book. We are discussing the book, the New Birth Order book. Give you a little bit of understanding. Sometimes the birth order in the family really does affect our personalities, and there are variables as to spacing in the family, adoptions, blended families and such. But these are general traits and strengths and weaknesses of each child, just to give you an idea, to pour something into you, so that if you feel that you are either one of these, it helps you use your strengths to move forward and to look at your weaknesses so that you can use them to live the good life. So we're going to move into our middle children. The strength would be that they grew up feeling squeezed out and a little bit rootless, like they didn't have, roots in one spot because, they weren't the first, they weren't the last, they were right there in the middle. They felt squeezed, so they learned maybe not to be spoiled. They learned to kind of accept certain things, which can be a good and a bad thing. A weakness would be they may be rebellious because they don't feel that they necessarily fit in. Typical traits are reasonable expectations. They have reasonable expectations where sometimes, your youngest doesn't, because they're like, they want everything, or the oldest may have to be perfect, or the only may have to be perfect, whereas your middle child have more reasonable expectations. It's a typical trait. Now, these are typical traits. Their strength would be because life hasn't always been fair, that they are more realistic. But the weakness being that they're treated unfairly may have made them suspicious, cynical, or even bitter. Y'all hear about that first child syndrome? Sometimes it does make them bitter. They look at you sideways or whatever. It happens. It happens. Another typical trait is they are a social lion, and they said lion. Relationships are very important to them. They make friends and tend to keep them for life. Their friends can be too important sometimes on the flip side, and not offending them may cloud judgment on key decisions. They tend to be independent thinkers. Your middle children tend to be independent thinkers. They're willing to do things differently, take a risk, strike out of their own. They don't have that issue with as much with perfectionism or that fear of failure. They may appear to be bullheaded, though, stubborn and unwilling to cooperate. That's the flip side of it. There are 3 more traits for the middle child. That is compromising. They know how to get along with others. They can be skilled at mediating disputes and negotiating disagreements. Now, this is where my father's thing has come. He ended up being an attorney, and what does he do? He mediates disputes, so look how that happened. But you can see how certain, personality traits have fallen in. And being, in the family, you probably had to do it in the family as well.
Right.
On the flip side, there's a weakness that can be seen as willing to have peace at any price. Others may try to take advantage of you. Being diplomatic, a peacemaker, it goes again. They say willing to work things out, great at seeing issues from both sides, but they may hate confrontation. They often choose not to share their real opinions and feelings. They may run away from confrontation, so you have to open your eyes to that. It may be a weakness that you need to strengthen. And last but not least, for the middle child, you could be very secretive. Very secretive. They can be trusted with sensitive information because they know how to keep a secret. But the weakness on the flip side of that is they may fail to admit when they need help. It's just too embarrassing. So, we are going over the birth order book. We're going to take a quick break. So those lastborns, you have to wait. You are last, but you are definitely not least. You want to hear about this lastborn. Why? Because it may be you. It's a good life, y'all. I am here with Rachel. We are here on Gumbo Talk. We are getting into the stew. All about you. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Henry Jolly, your relationship expert and nationally certified counselor. Everyone at some point in their life goes through struggles. I am a firm believer that people have the ability to will themselves into good situations, but sometimes they may need some assistance. Being a loving husband, father, and successful businessman while having a passion for the counseling profession has allowed me to gain experience with a variety of these struggles. Let's work together to achieve your individual, family, or marital potential. Come and see me at the New Orleans Growth Center, located at 3712 MacArthur Boulevard on the West Bank in Suite 209. You can reach me at 504-259-8671 or by email, which is henry.jolly@yahoo.com. Thanks for your time, and I'm looking forward to working with you soon.
Hi, this is Bishop Henry Bolden. I'm so excited to have this opportunity to personally extend to you, your family, and your friends this invitation to join me for worship. That's right. Come experience God on a whole new level. Join me at Perfecting Life Church this week. Make weekend plans right now. Join me for our Tuesday night life service each and every Tuesday night at 6:45 p.m. Only 45 minutes. Come as you are, dressed comfortably. Bring your family and friends with you. Also, don't forget our electrifying Sunday morning worship experience at 9:45. That's right. Come as you are and watch God do something incredible for you. Join me, Perfecting Life Church, 2025 Whitney Avenue, in the beautiful city of Gretna, Louisiana. Again, that's 2025 Whitney Avenue in Gretna, Louisiana. Listen, Perfecting Life Church is a place you can call home. Bring your faith, your friends, and your family. God bless you.
Isagenix is one of the fastest growing companies in the world because their products work. Their solutions and culture has redefined the health and wellness industry. Science backs their products and statistics back their success. But it's the people who make them successful. And I, Eileen Carter, have joined the Isagenix revolution. I've used the products and followed their system, and I'd swear by them. I'm on my journey of transformation and invite you to join me and try Isagenix today. Challenge yourself and change your life. Find information and testimonials at thegoodliferadioshow.isagenix.com. 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 Order yours today.
Come on, roll with RTA. You back for more information, and now there's more info at NORTA.com. You can plan your trip ahead of time or on your phone. You can text the stop number to see when the next bus is coming. You can follow New Orleans, RTA on Facebook and Twitter. From New Orleans east to the lower 9, we got you covered. Dirt Town, Uptown, Downtown, to the Algiers Point, and all in between. Rolling for everybody, everywhere. That RTA keeps New Orleans rolling.
You're tuned into the voice of the people, WBOK 1230 AM, where it's real talk for real times.
Good morning, and welcome back to The Good Life with me, Eileen. We are here on Gumbo Talk Thursday, and we're here to open your mind. We are living the good life right here on WBOK 1230 AM. We are opening minds to living differently in the world with love, compassion, tolerance, and understanding for ourselves and hopefully everyone else. We do that right here weekdays at 11 a.m. You never have to miss a show. We are live on Facebook. We are live on Instagram. And we are opening minds this morning with understanding. And we want to understand ourselves. I found this book years ago, y'all, and I literally have kept it in my library. I'm one of those book hoarders. And why? Obviously, I found out it is a tendency of only children. Go figure. Sometimes the only friend you had was your books. But it's funny, like to read and see yourself in something. I think is really so impactful for me. And I like the books, and so hopefully it might be something that you pick up. The book is The New Birth Order book by Dr. Kevin Lehman. He did not pay me for this. I just enjoyed the book, and I thought I'd share with you. And I was talking to Rachel during the break that, I really feel like it's a responsibility for each and one of us to pick up a mirror and to look at ourselves, because I can't think that I am the most wonderful thing on God's green earth and that I can walk around and that my actions don't affect other people, positively and negatively. Right. Like, there are some things I do that just do not sit well in people's spirits, or they, may affect them negatively. And I'm like, it's not something you want to keep doing, right?
Right.
If you have a tendency that isn't working for you, let's try to.
Well, and how often has a parent walking around thinking, oh my God, I sound just like my parents, right?
Girl,
well,
yes.
if it's a good thing that you should be emulating, then you of course want to keep doing that. But if it's something that you didn't appreciate, or really is a bad behavior, because some parents,
no parent is perfect, so you're going to have a
really
bad behavior.
Bad behaviors.
Or not perfect behavior.
You want to be astute enough to recognize it and not repeat it and stop yourself from repeating it. So if you're doing something, to all the parents out there, or grandparents too, if you're doing something that you did to your children and you recognize and you think about it and realize this is not what I should be doing, don't do it to your grandchildren.
Exactly.
And if you're a parent, the same thing. If there's something you did not appreciate about what your parents did, really, be thoughtful and introspective and try not to do that.
And I'm glad
yourself.
that you said that, because I can't tell you now why what you said is so important, but I'm going to tell you right after I read the Lastborns, because the Lastborns, they have held on to the end of the show. I know y'all are tired of coming last, but you are certainly not least. The typical traits of the Lastborn: they are charming, likable, fun to be around, easy to talk to. The weakness on the other side of that is it can be a little bit manipulative, slightly flaky. That's what it says. I didn't say you were flaky, the book did. Seeming to be too sick and a bit unbelievable. They said people-oriented. You read others very well. You know how to relate and work well one-on-one and in small groups. Social settings and events are their cup of tea. But going back to that manipulative, and I'm reading into this, and it's so they can get the attention because they have so many older siblings. They're trying to figure out their way to get that attention. The weakness with being people-oriented is they may have come across as undisciplined, prone to talk too much. You know those people who talk too much? They might be the youngest. Or too long, the kind who talks a good game but can't always produce. But they are tenacious. They keep on coming with tireless persistence, not taking no for an answer. They don't take no for an answer. But the weakness to that is they may push too hard because they see things only one way, which is their way. They can be affectionate and engaging, caring, lovable, wanting to help, to get strokes and, to give them as well. But they can be gullible, easily taken advantage of, making decisions too much on feeling and not enough on thought. They can be uncomplicated. They can appear relaxed, genuine, and trustworthy. No hidden agenda. That is a strength. But on the weakness side, they may appear to be absent-minded, a little out of focus. And last but not least, this is exactly what we were talking about, attention-seeking, entertaining, funny. They know how to get noticed. But the weakness is they may appear self-centered, unwilling to give others credit, have a big ego, temperamental, spoiled, and impatient. That's what they say. I didn't say it, but that is, some of the personality traits, general of the Lastborn. But I will take, going back to a little bit at the beginning of the show to let you know, there are variables in your birth order. It's not just a first, middle, last child and only. The variables are, let me go to the front so I can give them all to you.
What happens
but the variables are.
Yeah, but what happens when there's first, middle, and then last?
Well, it depends on their spacing. It depends on it depends on their sex. That has a lot to do with it too. Like, let me give you an example. If the first child is, I don't know if I said this earlier or on break, when the first child is a girl, but then you have the second child is a boy, or if you have two girls and then a boy, that boy could totally be as a first son rather than a youngest, or he couldn't hold traits of a firstborn.
You think in today's world that really still holds true?
I do, honestly.
That's pretty sexist.
I do, honestly. I mean, it's his life. I do. I really do, honestly.
I mean, I have a daughter and then I have a son, but I don't say that.
But I'm going to tell you. What does it go back to? What is one of the variables? Spacing and your parents.
Right.
The birth order of your parents. Because if both parents were youngest, they may see themselves in that youngest child, and that youngest child may get more attention than that firstborn and that middle child. So there is no cookie-cutter way about this. You really do have to read the book, understand the variables, and put your family dynamic into it. You can't say this is this. Right. You have to read the book and put your family dynamic into it, which is what I enjoy, because it's not just one thing or the other. But, I can see my sisters in this totally.
Well, I think...
And I can see myself in this totally.
Okay, well, the biggest thing is that people should give some thought into what their dynamic is between their siblings.
Oh, you gotta go.
See how it relates to their current family life, and just be very aware to not project any negative things from your past on your present, and to use the great things from your past to improve the present. Wouldn't you say that's really
Open your mind to living differently in the world. And last but not least, I do want to let you know that this is in the book as well. If you are raising children and you may not be relating to one in, the most perfect way, and none of us are perfect parents. I know by no means I am. This book could really help you there as well, because they do go through each dynamic of child in parenting tips that could help you relate with those child. They say, I'm going to give them to you quick, for firstborns and only children, they say, flaunt your imperfections in front of them. Let them know that you aren't perfect. It will help those children, your firstborns and your only children. If your parents let you know that they aren't perfect, it will help those children. They say for those middle children, take the squeeze off. Take the squeeze off. Let be an example for those children. Take the squeeze off. Give them time. Give them energy. Let them know that they are special too. And last but not least, the lastborn in the family. They say I hate that they say this. I feel so bad for lastborns. They said be aware of being manipulated, because they are trying to get attention, because there are so many people who are, are sucking up the air in the room that they're just trying to get it. So they fall back to the default. And sometimes it is, not the most positive behavior. So make sure that you are reinforcing your love for all of your children. And, it's a book I found helpful. I enjoyed it. The new birth order book. I'm really excited about it. So I hope you pick it up. And we are here with Rachel. I love her, and I loved your 2 cents today. And I love kind of getting to know your family, Rachel, and your dynamic. That's what The Good Life is all about. It's about, just understanding other people and understanding yourself. That's what the week is about.
Good deal.
Good deal.
Everyone stay safe in the upcoming rains.
Yes. And before we go, I know Rachel just saw on her phone that it has been increased to a Category 3. When I left my house, it was 1. Now it is 3. So call all of your family and friends in Texas. We want to wish them our prayers and our safe
and get your cars to a safe place. And
yes.
Don't drive through flooded water.
Lee is getting me out of here. We have to go. Thank you much for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow on Freedom Friday, and I'm out.